Okay, yesterday was the season finale of From season 3, episode 10. We're going to be going into the final recap, the endings explained, monsters, murder, a lot of reveals, massive reveals in this particular episode. As always, rate, comment, subscribe. Share this with your friends, family, as well as your followers, okay? If you was feeling frustrated at the lack of answers from season 3, you need not to worry. The finale revealed chapter 2 ties everything together in a perspective while still leaving plenty of mysteries for season 4. We're also going to be talking about season 4 on this very video as well. Okay. Season 9 ended on a cliffhanger as Tabitha had visions of Miranda's death, causing her to break down. It was frustrating, the outcome, given she was just itching away from the Phantom Cell, and she was inches away from Phantom Cell, where she was being held captive by Edgar. Okay. Meanwhile, Victor's trying to cut down the bottle tree only for the boy in white to show up, demanding that he stop. When Victor pleaded for answers, he responded, give us a clue on what to expect in the finale. I think you need to learn for yourself, he said. The only way you'll understand it. And then, as always, he walks off into the woods. All right. A lot of there. So those were the important events. Now we're going to be talking about season 3, episode 10, including a breakdown and an ending. I always warn you guys, spoiler alert. If you haven't seen the episode, I suggest watch the episode first, then come back, listen to this video, and then comment in the comment section. The comment section is your guys' domain. Okay. So Boyd goes medieval on Elgin. Okay. After figuring out Elgin knows where Phantoma is, Ellis, Boyd, and Kenny heads to the Colony House where Sarah and Donna joined them. Literally, they had a reason that he knew where Phantoma was, pointing out that whatever is telling Elgin to not tell anyone, they will have to force it out of him. Particularly, Phantoma has gone missing, particularly when he made the comment that she is expecting. They felt like Phantoma was in danger. But he insists that he was doing the right thing, claiming that the baby was their ticket home. When they don't get through to him, Boyd goes grab a number of tools, screwdriver, hammer, and kind of get the picture on that. Okay. He tells everyone else to stay downstairs, and an ominous warning them, which was the Polaroid picture, what would happen next. That kind of gave me goosebumps. Okay. Boyd gives Elgin numerous chances to tell him where Phantoma is, but he refused to spill the beans. Just as Boyd was about to swing the hammer, the haunting Polaroid camera goes off. It prints a picture of Boyd and his late wife's home. All right. The one thing they were traveling to when they arrive to the falling tree. Elgin tries to convince Boyd it's another clue that they're all going home if Phantoma gives birth, but he is having none of that, and he begins to smash Elgin's hand with the hammer. Okay. As Elgin screams in pain. Okay. And a lot of people dislike the character that Officer Acosta storms in and tries to put a stop to the torture section. Okay. As all of them argue, Sarah slips out of the room and used her past experience to try to get through to Elgin as You remember in season one, she killed her brother and nearly murdered the boy uh, because of the voices in her head. Okay, the Matthew's son, she was about to kill him because they told her to kill him. Okay, when she realized this isn't going to work, she stands up and says, "Boy, don't understand how far he needs to go to make you tell them he's a good man and this place has taken so much from him. I won't let it take his soul. They already got mine." Okay. Sarah picks up the screwdriver, gouge Elgin's eye out, and Elgin tells her where Phantoma has been locked up at, or held hostage at, and she was in the roof cellar. Okay, I felt like this was a great series of events in last night's episode. It ties everything together. Allow your boy to explain. Acosta and Donna, it seems like they are forming a partnership. And if you listen to my video last week, I explained that Acosta is probably going to be the sheriff, taking over some of the responsibilities that Boyd has. I do believe Boyd is going to govern the town, but after several events of several episodes, I do feel like Acosta is going to be at least important to the Colony House side of things. All right. So that, I kind of figured that 4 or 5 episodes ago, and it seemed like that's where they're heading, the two characters, Donna and Acosta. All right. Now, initially, I thought Kenny and Acosta was going to replace. There was going to be the law of both Colony House as well as the houses. I originally thought that, but I was right that Acosta is going to be very important moving forward to season 4, okay, and season 5. All right. So that came about. Elgin, I knew that this chapter was going to close in episode 10. I just didn't feel like them carrying this on and on and on and on. I had a feeling that they was going to end this, because I do believe that Phantoma was going to have her baby in episode 10, which that had a bow tie to it. Initially, I was kind of skeptic that Phantoma was going to make it through the pregnancy, but she did. So that, all that tied in. Ellis, found his future wife, and Boyd did not have to change his faith or change the person that he is by continuing to torture Elgin to get him to tell him where Phantoma was at. Sarah took that responsibility on, because I felt like if Boyd went through with that and, tortured him, I think that would have changed Boyd. I think it would change Boyd's reputation with the town. And I also felt like it was going to be a power struggle between him and Acosta. Also giving up, he would no longer have hope about leaving that place. So if he would have went through, that would have changed the dynamics of Boyd. So I like how the writers cleverly wrote Sarah as the villain. Okay. Now, I do feel like in season 4, what she had to do, I feel like the town at first is not going to co-sign to what she had to do to get Phantoma. But I do feel like, everyone would understand that she had to do that to save Phantoma. All right. And as far as them knowing that Phantoma killing Tilly, now, people are going to say, well, she had voices in her head. She was carrying something that was not human. And maybe all of that changed her thought patterns, changed the person that she was. And plus, and all that, I think they're going to excuse Phantoma with Tilly's killing. Okay, I don't think they're going to forgive her, but I do feel like they're going to kind of excuse it. I don't see Phantom. It's going to be hard writing in season 4 and explaining why Phantoma is in Colony House. Now, even though Donna said that Colony House needs Phantoma, she's very important to Colony House. They're going to have to really cleverly write that in, but me on the outside looking in, I just don't see how that's going to work. And her and Ellis is going to live happily ever after uh, in the houses where Boyd governs. Okay, so a lot of that stuff tied in that those current of events, and the chapters are closed for season 3, and there are new discoveries which we'll talk about a little bit later for season 4. Okay, so cracking the code. Jade cracks the code. Finally, Jade cracks the code. Okay. And it had a lot to do with the father of the Matthews. And just give me a second here. I had his name. Um, Jim. Jim helped Jade figure it out. You know, Jade had all the pieces, but he could not connect the pieces together. And Jim, just thought about the code. So let's just get into it, okay? In the fallout of Tabitha's flashback of Miranda's death, she tells Jim that what she's experiencing was more than a vision. Somehow Miranda was there and she was trying to tell me something, she says. Okay. Jim goes to Jade to apologize for having to go at him in in episode 8. There were, Jim was very volatile. He was scared. And when people are backs up against the wall and they're scared, they're going to say and do crazy things. Okay. So let's just, explain Jim like that. Okay. Admitting that he was scared and he needs his help. The trio gets together with Jade putting forward a theory as to why Tabitha is experiencing these messages in the same way Miranda did. The first law of energy is that energy can neither be created nor destroyed. It can only change from one form to another, he explains. Our thoughts, our memories, our souls, if you believe in this sort of thing, are made of energy. And that energy uh, doesn't die, it lingers. Okay? Tabitha confirms that one of the um, angel, the loony angel, one of the kids led her to the roof cellar in which Jade says, whatever it is Miranda is showing you, those kids want you to see it. They decide to get out. They decide to go out to go. Hold up. They decide to go out to where she last saw the ghost children. Jade started talking about visions he had in season 2 in the tunnels. And the kids saying that word over and over. This triggers a memory in Tabitha. Victor heard the boy in white say that when the kids are on the stones, they're pouring their hopes into the roots. That made the symbol, and the roots become the tree. In this case, you was wondering what the meaning of the bottle tree was. Okay. After a brief outburst of frustration, Jay realized that if the kids made the tree, then the numbers in the bottle must be important. Exactly. It's Jim who provides the breakdown. He figures out that there are 12 numbers. Two of the numbers are backwards, even though there were 4 digits on the paper. They're not dates. Jim pointed it out. It represents 12 notes of a musical scale. Putting their findings together, Jade figures out it's a tune. They decide to go out to the bottle tree, play it on a violin, and the boy and wife said that they had to learn it for themselves. Now they understand. As the plan works, soon enough, the kids show up, and we find out. Um, okay, and they find out what they are, but first, okay. So what they were at first, okay. So we're gonna stop it right there. So I thought that scene was very important as well. Uh, Jade and oh my God, man, I was about to say Julia. It's not Jade and Julia. It's Jade and Tabitha has have been doing this over and over and over to save the kids. They used to sing lullabies to the kids. Okay, so before we go there, first like to say this. Everyone was assuming that these numbers were dates. They were uh, addresses, and I remember on the message boards and on social media, everyone was talking about these numbers in the bottles of the bottle tree. And Jim, and I have never heard anyone say this, and this is clever writing once again, but Jim said that wait a minute, these numbers are musical notes, and when you put these news and when you connect these musical notes, they make a melody, they make a song, all right. And this song is like a lullaby to get the kids to appear, all right. And Jim and Tabitha realized that they have been doing this over and over, trying to save the kids. That's why she made so many different bracelets. Okay. Now, I don't know if you believe in reincarnation. A lot of people think this is reincarnation. They have experienced this throughout the years, throughout the decades. A lot of people are explaining that Jade and Tabitha, they have been doing this for quite some time now to try to figure out a way to save the kids. And now they figured out a way to save the kids. They have been doing this since the beginning of this world. All right. Jim was not understanding because Tabitha refused to believe that. She walks away. He talks to Jade, and Jade was putting the pieces together to Jim. All right. And now of Tabitha and Jade, what their relationship is or what it was founded on, we won't know until season 4. So we got all these theories and things of that nature. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time with the theories and things of that nature, but obviously they have been trying to save these kids since the beginning. These kids were sacrificed by their parents because the voices in their head said, if you sacrifice your kids, you will live forever. And that explains why, these creatures walk at night. They sacrifice their kids to be in the predicament that they are right now. Okay, so it was the voices played a lot of tricks with a lot of people. So, but it also explains. I always had a theory that the spirits in the town are on a different level than the creatures that haunt them at night. It's like two different entities, and we're going to explain that a little bit later, okay? So Julie is a story walker, and this is the time traveling thing, okay? While all this is going on, Julie is realizing after her experience in the ruins, she's speaking to Ethan about what she saw, saying she was transported to one moment and Randall and Miranda were trapped in the dungeon. Okay. Oh, I think her name Maria. I'm gonna say Miranda. Okay, I think that's where we were when we couldn't wake up. She explains, but then I left the chambers and I went into the tunnels, and then I heard Mom's voice, and I heard her talking to Victor. She talked. She was talking about the moment Victor helped Tabitha out in the tunnels after falling through their house in season 2. But Julia said it was like a dream. It was like she was back in time of that night. You're a story walker, Ethan says, someone who can visit chapters of the story that has already happened. Julie gets excited about the ideal. Maybe if she can go through the ruins again, she can go back, reverse these terrible events, and like Tan and Thomas's death. Okay, but Ethan explains it doesn't work that way. You can only visit the chapters, but you can't change them. No one can change story once it's been told. Okay, so we're gonna get into that. All right, so everyone was uh, now this they how they phrased it. She's a story walker. I'm just gonna say she's able to go into time in the past experiences that has already been created. Okay, she can see everything. She can see when they first got there, all the way to right now. Okay, so she can go into these. She can go into the past, but she can't do nothing beyond that. Okay, which we're going to talk about a little bit later about the unfortunate demise of Jim, but she can't do anything. She can't change anything. Okay, it happened. It's already done. There's nothing she can do about it for now. Now I do feel like I do feel like in season 4, she's going to figure out a way to break this Da Vinci Code where she can go back and change current events. Maybe not Thomas's death, maybe not Chan's death, or anybody else's death, but she probably can go back and warn her father again about what happened to him at the end of season episode 10. And we're going to talk about that a little bit later. All right. Another thing I want to talk about is a lot of people were saying this, including myself. How come they don't get together and talk about what they have seen, their experiences, and things of that nature? A lot of these things they could have already had answers to episodes ago. Now, I do understand the. I do understand how this can go or be treated the wrong way. Remember when they had the town meeting and it excited everybody about the possibility of leaving here because they found out about the faraway trees and how the faraway trees can transport you from one part into another part. Maybe these trees can transport them back to their regular lives. And Dale tried to go through one of those faraway trees, and he ended up deleting himself. Okay, so speaking out, about stuff that you have not put a lot of time in as far as trying to figure it out. That's a bad thing. But I do feel like maybe not the whole town, but selective people. And selective people were connected in episode 10 to fit all the pieces together. The Matthews kids, how they figuring it out, okay? Boyd and his son, and Fatima, how they figured it out. They pieced it, including Sarah, okay? Jade and Jade and I forgot the Matthews mom, how, and Jim, how Jade, Sarah, how no Jade, excuse me, and Jim and his wife, how Tabitha, there we go, how they figured it out. Okay, it's not getting everybody together, but certain people together. It's like a DNA. It's like a DNA code. It's like puzzles. Okay, you have to get the right pieces to make the right picture. So I thought that really explained why you couldn't get everybody together in one room. You have to get a select few in in a room to talk about certain current events. Okay, so I thought that explained it well. Okay, so let's move forward. Smiley Creature is back. Okay, now that Phantoma is now back to Phantoma, still trapped in the cellar. She tries to kill the monster baby before, but it's too late. But the kimono lady stops her and she goes into labor. Okay, Phantoma gives birth, but not to a baby, more like a fleshy, bloody sack. As it comes out the cellar door, yes, the cellar, the lift opens. The kimono lady takes it downstairs. Okay. A second later, Boyd, Ellis, and Kenny burst into the room, notice that the open cellar door. Boyd tells Ellis and Kenny to take Phantoma home, and he's going to go down there to investigate. Okay, but as he's walking through the tunnels, Phantoma makes a shocking revelation, one that will change everything. We finally learned the origin of the From monsters. Ellis, I saw them. I saw what they did. Those things that come out at night. I saw what they are. She says they sacrificed their children because it promised them that they could live forever. Sure, we don't know what it is, but we do know that it's supposed it it's supposed we suspected it all along. The creatures were once human. They murdered their children in exchange for immortality. Okay? But what about the Smiley Creature, the main monster in From? Did Boyd kill him in season 2? Well, following Phantom reveal, Boyd goes down the tunnels where all the monsters were standing in a circle. The Mola lady laid the sack down on the floor and it begins to pulse and expand. Boyd watched in horror that the smiley creature emerges, turns around to face the huge, well, with a huge grin on his face. Not only has it proven Phantoma pointed it all means all the blood she's been drinking, the rotten vegetables, um, it truly has become what was growing. She was truly it was a monster growing inside of her. This also indicates that the Anghookey ghosts that were once children, hint why Jade saw them laying on a slab, is mind blowing. Okay, so we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about that. Okay, so um, that was a very powerful and important scene, and that is that's the cliffhanger where we're all going to have to wait for season 4. Now, what how important is the Smiley Monster is, particularly at the end of episode 2 about Jim and his unfortunate demise. We're going to get into that a little bit later. But yeah, this is not good for the people in the town or colony house. Okay, now they got to deal with somebody that they thought that they done killed a couple of seasons back. All right, so that's the creature's leader, and we're just gonna have to wait and see how that develops. Okay, but it's gonna be stories on top of stories for season 4. Okay, okay. From season 3, episode 10 ends with a shocking death. Okay, and here we go. Oh, you thought we were done? The final sequence of season 3, episode 10 ties into a time loop theory, kind of what you see the Ghost Kids approach. Jade, Tabitha, Jim, one of them kneels and say a cooey. This triggers something to Tabitha, who starts crying and starts remembering. She says, which it triggers a memory in Jade as well. Okui, it's a meaning. And Okui means remember. He says we try to save them because one of them, oh God, we used to sing lullabies to them. And I talked about that a little bit earlier in this video. Tabitha walks away overwhelmed with emotion, but Jim runs after her, makes her speak. Turns out there's a reason why Jade and Tabitha can see the children, and it's the same reason there's more than one bracelet. It's because we've been here before, me and Jade, she said. The reason I felt what Miranda was feeling, because I was Miranda. Jade was Christopher. We come back over and over again because we keep failing the first time. Okay? Jade and I were here from the beginning. We tried to save those children, set them free, because of one of them was ours. She was our daughter. So Jade and Tabitha were receiving messages from Christopher and Miranda from beyond the grave. They were them. This suggests that there's some sort of time loop that's going on. It's far more complex and than we figured. Just take a look at the shocking final scene of Tabitha telling Jim she needs some time to think. He heads over to the broke down caravan, only to hear Julia scream running through the woods. Okay, she bounces over in panic and realized Jim as her father, but she gotten different. Her hair got shorter, blood is on her face. She tells Jim he needs to go back to town, saying, I think this is where it happens. I need to rewrite this story. Perhaps Julie has figured out a way to change the story during her escapades in the cellar. And if this is true, this is one of the principal mess ups, because before she can elaborate, a new character is the man in the yellow suit showed up and said that was one hell of a song. Okay, he says that Jay sure knows how to play, suggesting that the violin tune somehow fractured a timeline or a barrier between the dimensions, allowing the events from another version of the story to bleed into this one. This is speculation, of course. As he approached, Julie backs up in terror. Jim tries to warn him off. This did not go too well. This didn't have to happen, you know. That's what the man in yellow says. He says, knowledge comes with a cost, and I tried to warn you. He holds Jim up by the throat. Although Julie tries to stop him, he pushes her off before saying the infamous line, your wife should have never dug those holes. Jim, yes, the yellow suit guy, mysterious, is the man on the radio. Okay? Just after he says that, he kills Jim in a gory fashion, ripping his throat, and that ends that episode. Okay, so let's talk about this. Okay, and one person said on social media that the theme song and the opening monologue to all of the From episodes, the clues are right there. The man in yellow is there. The pregnancy, the trap door that goes into the tunnels, and all of this was there. We just never looked at it, or we had ideas, but we just didn't know how this stuff was going to play out. All right. So the man in yellow is going to be a very important character. He's like the creatures, but the only difference is he's a day walker. He walks in the day. So I don't know what's his limitations or how the town could fend off the guy in yellow. I don't even know if they're going to know that the guy in yellow killed Jim, unless Julie uh, can can explain it to the town folks. Okay, everybody's going to be skeptic about it, but they shouldn't be skeptic about it because there's a lot of crazy stuff that have happened from season 1 to season 3. Okay, I don't. But anywho, this is very. I feel like this is going to be the main villain. Um, I don't know if those stones that protect them from the other creatures, or they're going to protect him from the man in yellow. Maybe the man in yellow can only walk so far in the forest. Okay, I don't know. A lot of questions about the man in yellow. Jim is definitely not going to be in season 4 unless he talks to his daughter or his wife like a vision, or the town is using him to communicate with them to make them do things that they should not be doing. So yeah, um, that's the end of Jim. And I'll be honest with you, when Jade and Tabitha found out that they had a kid and they have done this many times over, the importance of Jim as a character just, no pun intended, just died right there. There's no reason to continue the Jim character. Okay, um, and 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 when Jim came to From, there was Jim was going through so many different phases. He was the funny dad. He was the lovable dad trying to salvage his relationship with Tabitha. He was trying to make it right by going on to this trip. They get trapped. He's being very supportive. Then he gets scared. He gets angry. Then from that he wants to be more supportive to Tabitha. He was finally being supportive to Tabitha, listening to Tabitha in the last 3 episodes. Now we find out that Jade is, excuse me, Jade is, Jade and Tabitha have been doing this from the beginning, trying to save the kids. They have a kid of their own. That was a lot to dump on Jim. And now, before Jim can react to any of that stuff, he gets killed in episode 10. So, yeah. I can't wait until season 4 to figure this out. I'm gonna have theories about this next week, so I can still do videos even though the season is up. Now, in From News, they've been greenlit for not only season 4 but season 5. And also, I found out that season 4 is going to be almost 2 years till we get season 4. All right. So I don't know if that's true or not, but I do remember season 1 and 2, they would always start like in the summer. And this one started a little bit later. Um, I feel like there's going to be a delay in it with the writing and when they can be able to film. That part of, I think they film in Canada. In that certain section, winter gets real bad over there. So as right now it's not a good time to film. I'm assuming that they're going to start filming once it gets springtime, or at least start writing, and then maybe they'll start shooting maybe in the summer, and we probably won't get this until next year. So yeah, so this is we're gonna have to wait and see how that plays out. I gotta get some more information about that. I don't know if that's 1,000% true, but yeah, that's what's going on. All right, so um, this was a hell of a roller coaster ride. This, you know, I told you guys episodes ago covering this that I felt like season three, a lot of stuff that we talked about in season three, a lot of it was going to end in episode 10, and it did. And the surprising thing, it's a smiley face monster. No one expected that. The man in yellow, we talked about it. We finally got an appearance from the man in yellow. Julie with, going into time, Tabitha and Jade, they have been reincarnated to live throughout time to unright an injustice with the kids, an unexpected death, Jim. But if you watch episode 10, you got the sense that why continue the character with Jim? There's really no importance why you should continue with Jim. I thought they was going to write him off in season 4. They decided to just do it in season 3. Okay, so yeah. You also got some other surprising things, other storylines. Acosta, she's starting to get some type of power or authority, if not for both towns, maybe Colony House. Okay. Phantoma, delivering the baby, she's fine. A lot of us thought that she wasn't going to make it through this season, but she did. So that's a good thing as well. So yeah. Sarah, getting medieval, how that's going to play out in season 4, we're going to have to wait and see. So yeah, that's all I got, folks. I will come with videos every week. And if you guys want to continue to watch them, I will keep making them. All right. If you guys want me to cover something else, let me know. But yeah, that's all I got. I'll talk to you guys later. Deuces.